Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the surprisingly brutal and relentlessly harsh reality of the wild male horse. When we think of wild horses, we usually picture these majestic creatures galloping freely across the American West, wind in their manes, just living the absolute dream, right? Well, as we'll see today, the reality is pretty far from a fairy tale. It is a constant, grinding struggle for survival. Picture this. You're born smack dab in the middle of a wide-open field. After a quick drop to the ground, your mom gives you a few licks, kind of nudging you to get up. You try to stand, immediately give the ground a warm hug with a couple of face plants, and eventually hit the dirt with these wobbly spaghetti legs. Seriously, you look exactly like a person trying on high heels for the very first time. Plus, you've got a massive target on your back, and from day one, the clock is ticking. Section 1. Wobbly Legs and Winter Chills. You're up against an incredibly fast, totally unforgiving biological clock. Think about it. You go from wobbly legs at birth, to chewing your first grass at just 4 months old, to being straight up exiled at 2 years old. If you manage to survive all that, you might become a lead stallion by age 5, only to face an inevitable defeat around age 12. There's absolutely no time to waste here, and literally zero room for error. But hey, in those early days, you're enveloped in the safety of the herd. This is a highly protective family unit made up of about 8 or 9 mares, a handful of shaky foals bumping heads to say hello, and one dominant lead stallion. He's your leader, your protector, and yep, your dad. For now, you are totally safe relying on your mom's unlimited milk tab. Sure, it's not exactly Starbucks, but it definitely gets the job done. Meanwhile, your dad acts as a very intense 4-legged alarm system. So let's look at the milestones of surviving your first 4 months. You're starting to get pretty tired of milk, so you decide to give that green grass stuff a try. But just as you're figuring out how to chew it, this weird sharp smell wafts in. You look up, and bam, there's Mr. Wolf. Before you can even think about running, your dad is already standing in front of you, snorting and stamping the ground. The wolf quickly realizes that dealing with an angry 1,000-pound stallion is absolutely not on his to-do list today, so he slinks back into the bushes like a ghost. Watching your dad effortlessly intimidate predators and pushing newcomers? Yeah, that makes you feel pretty invincible. But spoiler alert, that feeling of invincibility really doesn't last. Soon there's a sharp bite in the wind, and this earthy scent you haven't smelled before. The adults start moving with a sudden sense of urgency. Winter's coming. The grass turns dry and brittle, the water holes shrink down to these pathetic muddy puddles, and your carefree days are abruptly swapped out for a miserable, long trek searching for absolutely anything green and drinkable. Now, you might think survival in the wild is all about running fast. Actually, it's about knowing the right place at the right time. Your little body grows a thicker coat, but let's be real, it's not exactly winter armor. It just makes things slightly less miserable. Your survival depends entirely on the older horses pawing and scraping through the snow to uncover scraggly grass, while they literally pull you into the warm center of the herd to shield you from that biting chill. Section 2. Exiled to the bachelor herd. Fast forward to just 2 years old, and life becomes a never-ending parade of kicks and shoves from the lead stallion. Remember, he's the only adult male in the herd, and he is absolutely not thrilled about having a bunch of young colts coming of age around his mares. He's had enough of you. So you've got a choice. Take him on for control or hit the road. Wisely keeping all your limbs in one piece, you choose to hit the road. So now you're wandering the mountains with maybe one other ousted friend. Step 1 of your survival guide, hit the road and find a bachelor gang of other ousted stallions. Once you stumble upon a group of about 5 other young exiled males, life gets very interesting. You spend your days hunting for food and learning step 2, challenge the horse directly above you in the pecking order. This hierarchy, it's based entirely on strength. And step 3, keep winning rough and bloody fights to reach the very top. Once you fight your way to the top of that bachelor gang, you've got a brand new target: stealing a herd of mares. But claiming a herd isn't as easy as it sounds. It is a brutal game of attempts and setbacks. You find a lead stallion, and in minutes, a duel kicks off. You're throwing hoof strikes, and then you realize, oh right, he's going in with his teeth, and man, that stings. You battle it out for a grueling 5 minutes, back and forth, all while your bachelor buddies are just sitting back, sizing up your strength, practically breaking out the popcorn to watch the showdown. And most of the time, those early attempts end with you heading back to your group completely covered in bruises and scratches. It takes multiple attempts. You endure more freezing winters, wandering for miles, scouring for anything edible, and huddling near cliffs just to survive the biting cold. But every time spring returns, You shed that winter coat and go right back on the hunt. Every setback, every bruise, and every scar just toughens you up and makes you that much sharper. Section 3. Reign of the Lead Stallion. At age 5, it finally happens. You challenge an older stallion. You fight with everything you've learned, and you actually defeat him. You claim his mares and their young for yourself. Your old bachelor group breaks up, with the next strongest taking your place, and you step into your new life as the dominant leader. Now, let's get one thing straight. Being the boss is absolutely not a glamorous gig. It's a grueling, exhausting, 24/7 job. You are the one fending off packs of wolves and mountain lions, raising your hooves to strike them down one by one. You have to guide the herd to safe spots with enough grass and water. You constantly have to battle those ambitious young bachelor stallions who want exactly what you have. Meanwhile, the mares mostly keep to their roles, giving birth, caring for the young, and luckily for you, tending to your many injuries. But during these years, you are at your absolute physical peak. You're nearly unbeatable. When winter rolls around, bringing that gnawing hunger and those long treks, you rely on the wisdom you've built over a lifetime to guide your herd to the spots that might still hold some food. You know every inch of these plains. You're a masterful protector, keeping everyone alive through the harshest conditions nature can possibly throw at you. Section 4. The inevitable bitter end. By age 12, the reality of your brutal life finally catches up to you. You fought way more battles than you can even count. Your muscles ache deeply, and you're visibly slowing down. But here's the thing. The wild doesn't care if you're tired. The challengers just keep coming, and you still have to fight. One day, a young stallion stands before you. He's brimming with energy and ambition, his bachelor gang cheering him on from the sidelines. You step up, thinking it's just going to be another fight, but it's over in a flash. Just like that, you are defeated. And honestly, the most heartbreaking part? The mares you spent years of your life bleeding to protect are just gone. They leave with the new stallion without so much as a goodbye. So your life comes to this tragic full circle. Think back to then. As a wobbly foal, you were huddled safely in the warm center of the herd, shielded from the cold. And now, you are entirely alone. For the first time in your life, there is no one to lean on. You push forward through the freezing winds, scaling mountains in search of just a tiny scrap of green, until you finally find the side of a rocky cliff to settle beneath, freezing and just hoping your stored fat will somehow keep you alive. And to make matters worse, as you're resting against that cold cliff, an old enemy appears. It's the exact same wolf you used to effortlessly chase away when you were in your prime. Only this time, he sees that you're alone, you're injured, and you're aging. And this time, he's brought friends for a little revenge. The mighty lead stallion's journey ends as dinner for a pack of wolves. So we want to leave you with this provocative question. When you look at the life of the wild stallion now, does that romantic image fade? Nature is incredibly harsh, and it asks absolutely everything of these animals. But understanding this relentless, tragic struggle, the sheer grit required just to survive from one season to the next, well, it makes the existence of these incredible warriors all the more fascinating, doesn't it? Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll see you next time on The Explainer.